friends, and welcome back to Movies, Munchies, and Moscato. I am Rhonda.
And I'm Rochelle.
And we're just a couple of friends who love movies and television. So if that is something that interests you, please stick around. So we just recently learned that they are going to do a I Know What You Did Last Summer series over at Amazon. Now, those who may not know, there was a movie that came out in the 90s with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe, and Freddie Prinze Jr., which was one of my favorites actually back then. I really enjoyed it. So they're doing a series of that at Amazon, which I think will be interesting.
I love that show. I really liked it. So,
yeah.
Do you know who it's with this time?
No, they haven't said anything about who's going to be involved in it.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's supposed to be the same characters or if it's just a whole new set of characters doing something similar maybe.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see that come out.
I know, it should be interesting.
Yeah.
Also, The Crown has just cast their next Prince Charles for the final 2 seasons. It's Dominic West of that show The Affair fame off the HBO. So that should be interesting. I don't think he looks anything at all like Prince Charles. I don't know about you, but...
yeah, no. But they can do a lot with makeup these days.
That's true. Makeup and prosthetics.
Yeah, but you need a couple of big ears.
That's true. So I'm assuming that's what they're going to do with him to make that work. Mm-hmm. But the 4th season is going to be dropping on November 15th. So we still have the 4th season to go before those 5th and 6th final seasons happen. So we have a bit before we see him.
And I need to get caught up, but I really enjoy this show, The Crown. I actually do like stories about the monarch, and I'm excited to finish watching it. So this will be something to look forward to.
I have yet to ever watch that, but I will have that to my list, of things to watch.
Yes.
Goodness, my list keeps growing. Zendaya has announced that 2 special episodes of Euphoria will be coming out ahead of season 2. The first one will be in December. Now, this is a show I've never watched. I'm kind of intrigued now that she's won, the Emmy for it, being the youngest person ever. So, and I like her as an actress normally. It's just the subject matter is not one that I usually enjoy.
Right. No, I agree. When I first saw it too, I didn't have any desire to watch it, but yeah, she beat out a lot of really great actresses in that category. One being my favorite on Apple TV, which is the morning show.
Oh, right, that's right.
And so beat out Jennifer Aniston. So yeah, I think we probably ought to take a peek at it.
All right, let's add that to the list as well. My goodness, just getting longer and longer.
Yes.
So also, Michael B. Jordan is set to produce a movie on Static Shock. He's a DC comic book character who turned into a superhero after exposure to a strange gas gave him electromagnetic powers. So this sounds, interesting. I love superhero movies anyway. We like Michael B. Jordan, so him getting behind this works for me. He also produced a show I watched earlier in the summer called Raising Dion on Netflix. Loved it. It was this cute little kid who got who had these powers. His mom was like, "What's happening?" He just could move things with his mind. It just kind of came out over. It was very funny. It was cute.
So a natural. So
yes.
This is kind of a natural segue.
So he's just going into that. He keeps going into that area, which works for me. Also, Fast and the Furious has announced that it will have 2 more movies that will complete the saga, and it will finally be over after movie 11.
What?
I know, you're thinking...
It's kind of time.
Yes, I think it could be over after 9, but since they've already filmed 9, and it obviously didn't have a good ending or a complete ending, I guess we're getting 2 more after that. So the same director who's doing the 9th one coming out next year, Justin Lin, is also doing the last 2, so at least there'll be some continuity of how it's shown on the screen, so that'll be interesting. And yes, I am a fan of those movies, but I do think they could have ended them.
I agree. I do like them as well, but kind of after Paul Walker passed away, it kind of lost it a little bit for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love the cast, and I don't mind watching it in the supporting cast, but I did feel like there was a missing piece. Obviously there was, but
right.
Anyway, yeah, in my opinion, it is time to bring it to an end.
Right, let's move on. Because you know what will happen anyway, they're going to probably, reboot that in like 3 years with everybody different.
Right, exactly.
And we won't care, it'll be way younger, I'm sure, and we'll be like, don't know any of these people, but...
Yes, that's exactly true. I agree.
The last thing was that Legally Blonde 3 has been announced to be coming out in 2022.
Yay! Who doesn't love that show?
Right? It's like Pink, Reese Witherspoon. It's all good.
Pink.
Oh, yeah, she's all about her pink wearing, her outfit. She's all about
That's
pink.
right.
Her cute little dog Bruiser. It's like,
oh.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where...
Bend and snap.
That's right. I'm excited to see where it's gonna go from. I guess since it ended up in number 2, she got married to the Luke Wilson guy. I can't remember the character name.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm guessing it'll just be about her life as a lawyer and their lives if they're still together. So, yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
They just recently had their anniversary, and so I want to say 20-year anniversary maybe. And so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, can you believe
time
it?
flies. You forget sometimes how old you are.
That is true.
Or you try. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't have a birthday this year.
Oh, that's not fun.
No, that means I'm not a year older, so that's okay.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay, I'll remember that for next time for me.
Yes.
As far as shows out this week, there's only really one worth discussing with that is The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. This is season 2.
And a lot of people have been waiting for this.
Right.
So.
Yep, that's true. I am not a Star Wars fan myself. I've seen a few. I haven't seen the complete saga. Yeah. Apparently, I've been told I'm missing out.
Yeah,
but
you kind of are.
Things like that, they just never interested me as a child, and I guess because of that, I didn't really get into it as an adult. So I've seen a few here and there because of my dad and going to some with him for birthdays and such. But
well, I think you need to do a movie night with Dad.
I guess, right?
And he can explain to you what's happening.
That's true. He's a mega fan. He owns them all. He has posters in his office. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's a whole favorite thing. So what we'd like to do on this great Halloween edition of our show is discuss the top 10 Halloween movies based off of true stories.
Yes, we wanted to put a twist on this because who doesn't love Halloween movies? Maybe there are a few people, but I don't know any. But I wanted to put a spin on this because I think it's very interesting. The shows that I've seen, the ones that I've liked, I didn't realize they were based on a true story. So I'm just going to kind of go down the list of the top ones that, people have, I guess, they did a poll, whoever they are, and these are kind of the ones that most people have watched. So starting with The Exorcist. We all know how creepy that is, and it is definitely a Halloween favorite. Right. It came out in 1973. That's how long ago it came out. And it is still amazing to this day. It's still a classic. But it was based on a book that was actually based on the real life of a boy named Roland Doe who was possessed by demons in 1949. And the exorcism that they performed on him was so scary that there have been several books written by those who witnessed it themselves. So if you can imagine being in that room or seeing what was happening, I know in the movie it's just like the priest or the 2 priests, but apparently I guess there were a few other people.
Okay.
The next one, or ones, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which came out in 1974, Psycho, the original, 1960, and Silence of the Lambs, they were all based on the workings of a serial killer, Ed Gein, and he was born in 1906. I do remember watching a documentary on him, and at the time I had no idea that he's such a weirdo that all these movies and books were written about him.
It's amazing.
When they finally figured out who he was, he had 9 human skin masks in his possession.
Oh my gosh.
And the way that he would get those is that he would go and exhume bodies from graveyards or cemeteries and fashion trophies and keepsakes out of them. And so he had this whole area in his home of all these...
Basically like a museum.
Yeah, to him. And it was just gruesome. He did kill some people, but it was these other weird things that he would do. And it's very sad that he was severely, severely abused as a child. And anyway, so he did die in let's see, I can't remember. It was he was 77 when he passed away. So, but he did die in jail, and they did deem him to be, crazy and mentally ill. Shocking.
Do you know if he was put in jail because he killed people, or was it a combination of that plus he dug up people?
Oh, all of the above.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He had several counts against him, so there was no getting out. But it was really interesting because one murder he was not deemed sane to stand trial for, so then he went to some mental institution. But then the other murder that he did stand trial for, they said he was fine to do so. So I feel, he was just kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are several movies, and there are others too.
Just off of one man.
Yeah, one man inspired all this craziness. Nightmare on Elm Street. Who doesn't love that one?
That would be me. Me, I don't love that one.
It came out in 2010, believe it or not. The makers of this movie were inspired by the story of a group of Laotian refugees who had died in the throes of a nightmare. The medical reports said there was nothing physically wrong with them, so they couldn't figure out why they all passed away when they did, other than they just thought, some had said that they thought they were witnessing them having nightmares.
So maybe like suffocating in their sleep, or they didn't even really say that?
Possibly. They didn't really say that. They just said there were no findings in the report to suggest anything wrong physically with them.
That's crazy.
So it could have been someone who said, they probably died from a nightmare. Yeah, let's make up a movie on it.
Running from there, yeah.
Again, a lot of these are based on fact, and some of them are just based on, hey, it's a loosely rendition of what they had heard.
Right.
So, hence, moving on to the Amityville Horror. I remember reading this book when I was in high school.
It's a book?
Yes, there was a book made of it as well.
I didn't know that.
But this movie came out in 2005. This movie is based on actual events that took place at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, Long Island, and it's about 30 miles just outside of New York City. It's said that the oldest child, who was Ronald DeFeo Jr., shot and killed 6 members of his family. It is also thought that he was possessed by something because they didn't really think there was anything wrong with him leading up to the murders. So it took everyone by surprise. But right now, he's still in prison. He's serving 6 concurrent sentences of 25 years or more for each murder. But he's appealed to the courts, to the parole boards, and they've all denied him. So I'm sure he'll be in jail for the rest of his life.
Well, that's crazy.
But the house still stands.
Well,
and it keeps changing with every new owner, but there haven't really been anyone who's talked about it being something other than what happened. Like, there's been no other issues. Thank the heavens.
I did see the 2005, but there actually was an earlier one in the 80s or 70s, I want to say. Before that one. The 2005 one with Ryan Reynolds. Love it.
Yeah.
Love him. I don't love that movie. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
So I did like the 2005 version, but I never did see the one earlier.
That's
to know how they compare.
Right. And I never saw that one, but I saw the earlier one.
Oh, okay.
And for the life of me, I can't remember their names.
Of the earlier one? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's Barbara Streisand's husband's name?
Oh, it is James Brolin.
James Brolin. He was in that first one.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's correct. Anyway, I should know this. Anyway, okay, let's moving on to The Girl Next Door. I have never seen this film. I didn't really know much about it. Came out in 2007. But this movie is based on the most terrible crime in Indiana State. A 16-year-old girl by the name of Sylvia Likens was tortured and eventually killed by Gertrude Banowski in 1965. And the things I do, again, remember seeing a show, maybe it was a documentary on something like this. And it was horrible. It was the saddest thing. I don't know how this is actually a Halloween movie per se.
It doesn't seem like it would be.
It sounds terrible, but it did make the top 10. So, and then on to my favorite, the Conjuring franchise.
It really is, you guys. She talks about it all the time. Every time a new movie comes out.
I just love it so much. I just do. I don't know if that's even possible to love scary movies, but I do love this, along with Halloween. Just not going to lie there. But the Conjuring franchise, it's based on Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were demonologists and paranormal investigators. Sorry. The story of The Conjuring was exceptionally hard for them. It was probably the scariest and one of the hardest cases they had. There was also one in London which is actually The Conjuring 2, and it was the Einfeld case, and that one was truly, truly scary. And along with this comes another favorite. If you love possessed dolls, it's Annabelle. Annabelle, another top favorite in this franchise. Ed and Lorraine actually has the real Annabelle doll. And the Annabelle that we see in the movie is a very creepy, creepy doll, but...
It looks like it, yes.
Yes, and it's funny that they did that, but it's in reality, the actual Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann. So, it's a far cry.
It's not scary enough.
No.
I can see why they changed it.
Nope. But it's interesting, in this museum where this Raggedy Ann doll is held, it is said that people who have taunted Annabelle has faced near-death or fatal attractions. I lied. Accidents.
Or attractions. It's like, who are you? I'm going to kill you now.
You don't know. I mean, there could be someone creepy hanging around them and they can't explain why. So.
That's true. Okay.
All right, just two more here. Ravenous came out in 1999. This is all about cannibalism. So if you are into that kind of stuff, this is going to be your movie. Because who doesn't love a good cannibal movie? I mean, I love Silence of the Lambs, but you didn't see anything like you do in this movie. I'm going to go ahead and skip that one because that doesn't turn me on.
I'll skip it as well.
The last one, and this is one that I thought was really well done, and I liked it, was Mothman Prophecies, and I love the story behind it. It actually came out in 2002. Mm-hmm. It's with Richard Gere and Laura Linney. And it's basically an American supernatural horror mystery. I mean, right there, it just sounds awesome. So in West Virginia, the Mothman creature-like bird was reportedly seen in Point Pleasant area, and it would keep appearing somewhere between November 15th in 1966 to December 15th, 1967. And people said that they would see this Mothman or a bird-like creature that was dark, but he had glowing red eyes, and it would just show up. Like they would be driving down the road, they would see it, and it would kind of fly up and hover above their car. And there were so many different sightings and different stories about this. The last known sighting of it was right before the collapse of the Silver Bridge that killed 46 people. And so they kind of felt that this Mothman would bring, it was kind of an omen of impending disaster. Not that it caused it, but if you saw it, there was something was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But since then, there have been no sightings at all. And, now it's kind of gone back into folklore or history. But it's a good one. I recommend it. I really do like it.
I remember seeing it once when it first came out in theaters, so years ago, obviously. And I just didn't enjoy it at all.
You didn't care for it?
It didn't scare me. It was a little creepy, but
it was more creepy. I don't think that it's like super scary, but I think it's interesting maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Maybe it was just too slow moving for me. I don't know what it
that
was
could be.
Exactly. I just was not I wasn't into it.
That could be, definitely.
But I'll tell you something that I am into every Halloween, and that is my favorite Halloween movie, Clue. I watch it every year. And I know it's not, obviously a scary, Halloween movie. It's just one of those entertaining, set in a dark mansion, fun. It's raining outside and, things that go bump in the night. But it's just...
It is hysterical.
It has so many great actors in it that are so funny. And so I don't know what it is, but I just have to watch it every year. It's just my thing.
I love it. I love that you do that.
It's great. I also do watch Cursed. This is a movie that came out in the mid-2000s with Christina Ricci. And she basically was cursed with getting a werewolf bite, and so she would turn. It was a slow process in her turning. She wasn't sure what was happening. She was changing, and it's just all about her journey from when she gets bitten to where she ends up. And it's just it's not funny, but it's a really entertaining part, like action part drama show. And so I do like to watch that every now and again, as well as the I Know You Did Last Summer. So that's not an every Halloween one, but I will pop it in every so often.
Awesome. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Rochelle?
Well, as you know, did I mention The Conjuring?
Oh, just once or twice.
Okay. And how about Halloween?
Oh, of course.
You know, it's an oldie but goodie.
Right.
And I do love that. And I especially love the music. It's my ringtone. It's my... Well, it's my ringtone all year. So
yes, last year, you guys, I was like, can you change that? It's spring. Let's
But why?
Let's just move on from
all right, Gremlins will be the other one then. I'll change it to Gremlins.
Oh, I love me a Gremlin. I remember as a child that show freaked me out when they would change.
Very much so.
It's like, no.
Just add water.
Right. It's like, no. Where's Gizmo? I need Gizmo back.
Yeah, that was super popular.
Maybe it was number 2, but I remember when the Gremlin it came out and it was like the Gremlin had spider legs. I was like,
oh yeah,
what is this? So I was like, it was just very, creepy.
Yep, so. That was definitely an oldie but goodie too.
Oh my gosh. Well, moving on to things that we've been watching this week, I started rewatching Dracula, which was a TV show they redid back in 2013 with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. And so I got that through Netflix on DVD, which I have connected just to my regular Netflix streaming service. Like I said, I really liked it before. I just wanted to rewatch it, so I've started doing that again. It's just a good, different take on it, and we love him from The Tudors. Also, I did just watch the Fantasy Island remake from last year, also through Netflix on DVD. I was surprised. I actually enjoyed this. I thought it was going to be stupid because I was one who enjoyed watching the reruns of Fantasy Island when I was little. I just thought it was so interesting to, someone goes to an island and then someone, makes their dream come true. You're just like, what?
Or was it little guy?
You know what? He was cute and all, though that wasn't the main draw. It was just always interesting to see what people, why they wanted to be there.
What their fantasy was.
Let's see what's going to happen this week to this person. So the cameos, it had so many, cameos of that time period. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So, but this one was a horror take on it. So, it was just these 5 strangers on this island, to get the fantasy, but the fantasy, of course, goes horribly wrong as they realize that they're not quite there for what they thought they were, and so, which I won't give away or anything what that is, but I would check it out. It's not, ignore any bad reviews you may have heard about it and just keep an open mind, because it actually ended up being a pretty good show. And finally, I started watching Hellstrom on Hulu. It's a new show that just came out, I want to say, last week or so, about these, it's based on some type of DC comic book characters. But so far, so good. I'm still only, 2 episodes in, but I'll keep going. It's very interesting just about these 2 have powers from their father and just about trying to figure out what is happening exactly with their dad, with their mom who's in an institution, and they're just trying to figure out basically the path they're supposed to be taking to get their mom better. So I do recommend that as well so far.
Right. Well, and I've been watching Lovecraft Country. And I think you know the backstory on that one, wasn't it? It's on HBO, and it is
also was a comic book.
Crazy. It is so weird and so bizarre. It starts out and it's kind of disturbing because it's it seems like it's set in the 1960s when the South was deep in racial divide and just how these black folk were treated, and it was very disturbing, and I thought, I can't watch this any further until the creatures appear and start whipping people's heads off and that type of thing. And now they find themselves in the middle of the woods, and there's like this palace there, and then all of a sudden they are just living a different life. It's very bizarre. So I am watching that.
I've been avoiding checking it out because I'm not someone who likes too many squiggly, wiggly things coming at me.
And they have some of those in there. It's pretty creepy.
It's like, but I'm going to go into it for the story and just maybe look away when the bad parts happen.
Right. Well, I'll let you know when that's going to happen so you know.
Okay.
And then the next one is The Vow on Netflix. And that is based on Scientology. And I've got different things going on here. I got different religions going on here. This was the NXIVM. NXIVM. And most of you have probably heard about that, where they were branding women.
Right.
And the actress...
Allison Mack.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were referring to what was in it. But Catherine Oxenberg.
Catherine Oxenberg's daughter was pretty much just swept up in this mess and really couldn't get out of it. These women are brainwashed, and they will brand them with this Keith
Raniere.
Yes, Keith Raniere's his initials, which actually look kind of like an interesting logo at first, and then when you look at it, you can see his initials in there. So the branding of these women his initials will be with them for the rest of their lives unless they can get it taken off. Anyway, crazy. It's kind of an ongoing thing, but it is a big deal. I definitely recommend watching it. I am to the part where they're trying to figure out how to get her out. Okay. So it needs obviously we know she does, but how they go about it is really pretty interesting.
I like to hear, how they do go about that later. She'll have to tell me, because I haven't watched that. I've watched some other things on the subject, but not that particular documentary. So I'll have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'd like to do some fun Halloween facts. These are brought to you from the good folks at Good Housekeeping. So we just thought these would be interesting that I thought when I was reading through them. I'm like, I didn't know most of these. So the first one is, this holiday goes back more than 2,000 years. So basically the people in Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France would ward off ghosts by lighting sacrificial bonfires, and you guessed it, wearing costumes.
Oh, no, you're kidding me.
So I thought that was, I didn't realize it went that far back.
Yeah, 2,000 years. No idea.
Right? Also, trick-or-treating has existed since medieval times. Again, didn't realize that was what was happening down there, but back then it was known as guising in Scotland and Ireland. Young people dressed up in costumes and asked for food or money in exchange for songs, poems, or other tricks, as it were.
Oh.
Also, immigrants helped popularize the holiday in the U.S., this was very interesting. When the Irish fled their country in the 1840s due to the potato famine, they brought their Halloween traditions with them. So by the 1920s, the mischief reached an all-time high.
So, because of the potato famine, it was time for them to leave? Okay.
I get right, and then they just,
Now, if you'd have run out of Irish whiskey, that would be one thing, but the potato famine, unless that was just something that they lived on.
Right?
Well, and I'm sure that they were potato farmers, so.
That's true, but still, that's just very interesting. Also, Halloween is now the second largest commercial holiday in the country. Now, this comes only after Christmas. Consumers spent approximately $9 billion on Halloween last year, according to the National Retail Federation. That's a lot of candy and costumes.
Wow.
That really,
Yeah, I've heard that it's actually getting to, that it could actually be almost as much as Christmas very soon. So.
That's just crazy to me when you think of how many, in terms of gifts that people buy at Christmas time, to think that Halloween can get to that exact amount.
Right. I think with all the decorations, they spend a lot of money.
That's true, when everything that goes into it, that's true. There are also, this year will be the first Halloween in 19 years to have a full moon.
Oh, of course, it's cool. 2020.
Right? Full moons on Halloween are pretty rare. The last time there was a full moon was on October 31st. The last time there was a full moon, October 31st, it was in 2001. Before that, it was in 1955.
Wow.
And apparently the next one won't occur until 2039.
Oh,
so
my.
It's going to be quite a span. Who knows who will be around then?
Right. Hopefully our podcast.
Boop, boop, hint, hint. The Michael Myers mask in Halloween has a fascinating backstory. When the original was shooting in 1978, production designer Tommy Lee Wallace picked up 2 masks from a Hollywood Boulevard magic shop. One was a clown, the other was a William Shatner as Captain Kirk in Star Trek.
What? William Shatner?
I know, right? Tommy came in with the clown mask on, and we went, ooh, that's kind of scary. Then he put on the Shatner mask, and we stopped dead and said, it's perfect. This was actor Nick Castle telling that to the New York Times. So they then spray painted it white, cut the eye holes bigger, and then the rest is history.
Wow. I have to look at that mask.
You know, it's like,
see
thinking
William
about
Shatner.
it, I can see that. I can see that, thinking of it, like, okay. It's just funny, so many people have thought to, like, yeah, let's buy that mask and just try it and see what they say.
Yeah.
Probably as a lark, but it ended up working. The last thing is, some shelters used to suspend black cat adoptions for Halloween. They feared that the animals were in danger of satanic cults in the days leading up to the Halloween holiday. Nowadays, some shelters promote black cat adoptions in October and use interviews to weed out anyone with the wrong intentions.
I have a black cat, and I'm very protective of her, especially this time of year, but she is the best. And you have a black cat.
I do have a black cat. He is not the best, but I love him anyway.
He's a baby.
Little troublemaker. But it's like, I was never in fear of, it being satanic or anything like that.
Right.
So,
all those.
That worked
That's
out.
good news. I hope I get to see him the next time I come over.
Right? He likes to hide from people. He's still new to the world, so.
As long as we're not seeing any sacrificing going on.
Right? Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. We had a fun time and hope you enjoyed it as well. Please comment and subscribe. And as always, if there's a movie you would like us to review, please let us know. We'll see you next time. Have a happy Halloween!